Yeah. Put on a suit, step up to the plate. Not looking for casuals, looking for debate. Fluent versus chill versus everyone. Break it down till the best one wins. More fluent every time we talk, that's never ridiculous. Let us hear your thoughts walk.
That's still the catchiest intro I've heard.
Yeah, that's a Billboard top 10 right there.
I'm just saying. It's the best. It's the best one I've heard. You know, I'd like to get everyone's take real quick because everybody knows what the show is. It's Fluent versus Chill versus everyone. You guys give us topics. The chat gives us topics. It's normally me versus Chill or me, and then we just flip it up and go crazy. I put out a theory I have about the NBA logo.
Ooh, I saw that.
What are your thoughts? Honest thoughts.
I think there's merit to it. I do think, like you said, it being the 1960s, them not wanting to give it to Elgin Baylor, obviously because of the racial issues at the time, definitely makes sense of how they want to market the product at that time period. But again, I mean, like you said, I mean, the NBA's official standpoint is it's nobody. It's just a silhouette of a random guy.
Yeah,
right?
But you can't trust the NBA because the NBA told you the NBA started in 1946, and we all know it didn't start till 49-50. So what the NBA said is,
they're saying that to just so they don't have to pay somebody, right? They don't have to pay their image.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's definitely possible. Will we ever know? No. Do I think the NBA logo will ever change to a player? No. Yeah, I think it's not your worst take. I think that take is actually
the logo will ever be like LeBron or Kobe.
No, you should never. No, to me, again, NFL does it very smart. Like, you should never have a league where a player becomes bigger than the league or kind of at the same point, right? At the end of the league's a business. One, again, you're not going to pay LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, whoever, Kobe's estate. You're not going to give that, right? It's just unnecessary. Like, there's nothing the NBA gains except for a couple fans being excited having LeBron, Kobe, or Jordan as the logo.
Yeah, and you probably alienate some too.
Exactly.
I don't believe a word of what Tone just said. No, I don't believe it. It was Jerry West. And it's the problem that I have with Tone's conspiracy theories is the fact that we live in the space that we live in today. Like the whole Jordan was he was really drunk, or not Jordan, he was drunk. I mean, Jordan really was suspended as opposed to he quit. Like, we live in a space where we can find these things out. Like, these aren't things that, are in, Fort Knox where they're just locked up and we can't find them out. No, we can find these things out. And Jerry West.
Are you suggesting Michael Jordan wasn't suspended?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Yes, I'm 100% suggesting that he wasn't suspended.
He was 100% suspended. That's why that's the only reason. That's the only reason why the cheapest owner in the history of sports paid him.
So let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly, Jalen. So I work for a bank, and I am the top earner in this bank, right? And as the top earner in this bank, I bring in the most business. We are the biggest bank. Only to find out, Jalen, that I'm stealing.
Hey, it's Ponzi scheming, yeah.
You find out that I'm stealing, right? So instead of firing me, because by the way, all the other banks, the number 2 bank in the world, the number 3 bank in the world, the number 5 bank in the world, they know I'm stealing too. So instead of you firing me, you give me a hiatus and you put suspension on it. And 30 years later, we never find out about this.
Have you ever seen the movie Yes Man?
Break.
Have you ever seen the movie Yes Man?
With Jim Carrey.
Okay.
What he basically does is he doesn't
steal. Hold on, he doesn't steal. Jordan didn't steal. What he did was he said yes to every single loan, and it could have got him in trouble. But then the bank, the head of the bank comes down and goes, you know what? All these little micro loans that you gave out, they actually made us money. So you know what? Keep doing what you're doing. Jordan wasn't stealing from the NBA; he was still making them money, but they had to do something. I
see Chill's point in the sense of, would there be too much information or somebody out there who would have known that would have came out by now? You know what I mean? Like, it's like
the aliens are out there. The Earth is flat. The Epstein files are there and still nothing. Like, come on, they know.
Well, first and foremost, Tone, the Epstein. Let's be clear about the Epstein files, Ori. First, somebody had to die. Let's be clear about that.
He's not even dead.
Somebody had to go away for this to be open.
Had to fake his.
With that being said, the NBA did an investigation, and this wasn't by the local police or anything like that. This was the FBI. We dug into this, and we found out that the dude went to Atlantic City and tricked some dough on my day off. That's all I was doing. I didn't do nothing.
Fluent Conspiracies coming soon to YouTube.
Why do you think Jordan doesn't do a DraftKings, FanDuel, or one of those sponsors?
Absolutely.
He doesn't want that attention. Jordan does not want that attention if he does a DraftKings, FanDuel sponsor. He doesn't want that conversation.
I think that at that point in the NBA in the 60s, they did need a logo, and the NBA was not that popular amongst white people wanting black people to be the face of the league, which I understand your point in that, Tone. But with that being said, we could have made that silhouette about anybody. I actually saw who put this together. There was a picture of Jerry West in his gold Laker uniform. That was the silhouette which they trimmed down and made it Jerry West. I can appreciate your, again, Tone, I can appreciate your conspiracy theories because you are the ultimate conspiracy theorist.
All right, so it's just coincidence that the ears and head match perfectly. Just coincidence.
If that was Elgin Baylor, I promise you, especially considering that time, we would have found out about it. I'm the one who drew this. I really made it about Elgin Baylor, and I didn't want to put it out there because during that time, my father, he drew this, and it would have caused so much backlash. Come on, Tone.
All right, you know what? Listen, we got to get to the first debate topic. Leaf, Fluent Conspiracies, bro. You could be my co-host, and I'll tell you we get all about the most recent ones. Chris, I got you going first, then Ori, then Jalen. Obviously, the chat chimes in, so take us away.
Let's do it.
Sounds good to me. So, last week I went modern with the debates for certain guys out of position. I'm gonna go historic with this one. And it's one that I believe you guys have debated before on Fluent and Chill. I'm going to go with, in my opinion, the two best centers of the modern era, between Shaquille O'Neal and Hakeem Olajuwon. It's been a debate for a while now. Most people have them in the late singles, early, in that 8 to 12 range. Some of them even have them even higher. So, Chill, I want you to debate on behalf of Hakeem, and Fluent, I want you to debate on behalf of Shaq.
Oh, you flipped the script on that. All right. Okay.
Did I?
Well, he is kind of related to Shaq, bro. But that's
I know that he's related, but I also know that Chill has Hakeem higher on the list by a spot.
I do.
Mistaken as well.
You have Hakeem over Shaq?
I do. Yes, I do.
Man, if I was your cousin, I would.
You was there when I told him that. What are you talking about?
I don't ever listen. You know me.
I was sitting right there when I told him that I had Olajuwon ahead of him. Yeah, you were sitting right there when I said that.
Well, then you go first and tell us about Hakeem the Dream.
Okay, so I think Olajuwon, when you talk about being the best to ever do it at something, Tone, you're an advocate of being the best to ever do it at something. And what's the guy's name that used to play for your Bears, the return guy?
Devin Hester.
Devin Hester is the best return man in NFL history. And I know how you feel about the Hall of Fame, but he's the best to ever do it in that sport. At that one thing. Well, Hakeem Olajuwon is the best defensive player in NBA history. With him being the best defensive player in NBA history, that right there alone, that's not including the offense, that right there alone affects everything else from every other center. I'm a glass cleaner. Not only am I a glass cleaner, I am also, my hands stay busy, so I'm very good as a steals man. I'm the ultimate rim protector. So when I retired, Tone, I was the only player in NBA history to retire in the top 10 in block shots, steals, and rebounds. Nobody else did that before me, and nobody else has done that since me. So now let's get to the offensive side of the basketball. On the box, I am impossible to deal with. I understand that we have a bunch of guys who are more physically imposing. I understand that we have I think that we have a bunch of bigger guys. But when it comes to Hakeem Olajuwon, when we're talking about a guy who I can throw the ball to on the box and he could just get to it, in terms of him just being an offensive force, whether it's with force or whether it's with finesse, open pivot, and I can knock down the mid range. I can be a force with my right hand, with my left hand. I coined the move, the dream shake, which is impossible for anybody to deal with. On top of all of that stuff translated to winning. And when I did win, I did it in dramatic fashion. When he did win in 1994, we won. When I did it in 1994, I did it as the league MVP. I did it as the defensive player of the year. We ended up winning the NBA championship, and I was the finals MVP. And to prove that it wasn't a fluke, because by the way, Tone, when I'm talking about scoring and being a bucket getter, I actually led the playoffs. I broke the record for playoff points that year in 1994. And to prove it wasn't a fluke, I actually did it again the next year in 1995, which is a much harder road. I should have won the league MVP in 1995, but I missed 10 games. David Robinson ended up winning it, but I was a force on defense. Not only was I a force on defense, I was a force on offense, and I proved it when we got into the playoffs, when I outplayed David Robinson, when I outplayed Karl Malone, when I outplayed Charles Barkley, and of course, when I outplayed Shaquille O'Neal. So with all of that being said, my longevity as a big, not only my longevity as a big, my prowess as a defensive player, which I'm the defensive player of the year. I think I got like 10 seconds left. My prowess as a defensive player, the defensive player of the year, makes me a top 10 center of all time.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. It's excellent. A lot of words you said there. Here's the thing. When we talk about big men, we talk about dominance. Because when we look at statistics of big men are based a lot on the team, on who's getting them the ball. Right, like people take away Karl Malone some of his points because he had the greatest passer of all time, or one of the greatest passers of all time, and John Stockton setting him up for all those passes. So we can't just look at numbers. Although Shaq obviously better scorer, higher field goal percentage, etc. But those things don't matter as much because we're talking about big men. When we talk about big men, we talk about dominance. And when we talk about who's the most dominant big man in the history of basketball, only one name comes up, and it's Shaq. No one has been as big, as strong, as athletic as Shaq. People forget Orlando Shaq. They want to remember Celtic Shaq. They want to remember the big cactus Shaq. And they don't remember Orlando Shaq, who would get the rebound, go full court, and dunk it on your head and bring the entire basket down with him. They don't remember the guy who could go tween and then hit you with a baby hook. They don't see that guy enough. So here's a guy that came into the league when it was at its weakest in the 90s and took his Orlando Magic team very quickly in a couple of years to an NBA final. Then went to the Lakers and carried a team where there was a young Kobe who wasn't Kobe yet to 3 straight NBA finals. And who was the MVP of those 3 NBA finals? Oh, that was Shaq. Then an older Shaq goes to Miami and helps Dwayne Wade get another one. And that's dominance. That's
yes, sir.
Hakeem came into the league and he had Ralph Sampson. Who did Shaq have? No Ralph Sampson. And so he wasn't even the best player on his team when he got there. And then he went to the NBA finals, and I believe in his second year, and then not again for what, a decade? 10 years. You're telling me the greatest center of all time, the greatest defender of all time? I think Bill Russell has a few words to say about that. That being said, the greatest center, as you're calling him, of all time, couldn't sniff the finals until the 90s when you had all these expansion teams. Jordan was retired, let's say, and out of the league. That's how he won his 2. I don't think we can go accolades on Hakeem. So if I'm looking at who is the most dominant big man in history, that's Shaq. He was bigger, he was stronger, and people do not give him credit for the passer that he was. He didn't have to lead the league in rebounds, but he was a menace. He didn't have a bunch of shot blocks. But how many people just didn't even come into the lane and give him a chance to block the shot? That's intimidation. That's what you need from your big man. And dominance over stats is why Shaq is over Hakeem.
I think it's interesting, Tone, that you mentioned being the most dominant. I mean, did they not change the rules for Chamberlain because he was so dominant? I mean, I think we talk about a guy being dominant. All the rules that they changed were for Chamberlain. I mean, they didn't do nearly as much as they did for Shaq. That's number one. Number two, Hakeem Olajuwon and that Houston Rockets team, they went to the NBA championship in '86. They ended up getting back in 1994, which is 8 years, not 10 years. With that also being said, don't forget that I also had to deal with a drug problem on my unit that you didn't have to deal with, because we had actually handled the NBA champion Los Angeles Lakers the next year in '86. But then I had to lose all of my guys because we had drug problems, guys like Lewis Lloyd, right? And now I'm getting back to the NBA championship with Vernon Maxwell, Kenny Smith, Otis Thorpe, Robert Horry, Mario Elie. These are who I'm taking to the NBA championship. And since we're on the subject of being a defensive prowess, Shaq didn't have to lead the league in rebounding. Oh, I did though. Shaq didn't have to lead the league in shot blocking. I actually did do that, though. In fact, I was the all-time shot block leader when I retired. Tony, I am the only player in NBA history who finished second in Defensive Player of the Year. Do you know I did not make the All-League defensive team? How ridiculous is that I did that? Shaq can't say any of this stuff.
Able to lead the league in rebounds and blocks because no one was scared of you to come in on you like they were on Shaq. That's the difference. They were even scared to come into the paint. And you say the drug problem. Oh, sorry. Let's go back to your rules. How many rules did they change for Hakeem? Oh, none. That's absolutely right. None. And could they hedge and double team him? Was there any kind of zone? No, the zone was literally put in to stop guys from like Shaq. So actually, Shaq did have some rule changes for him because he was so dominant. They're like, we can't handle this dude. He's too much. So you know what? We're going to allow hedging. We're going to allow you to not play your man and come off your man because if Shaq gets you one-on-one, it's not fair to the league. So they actually did change a rule for Shaq. Now, if you're comparing against Wilt, that's a different conversation, but we're not. We're comparing to Hakeem, and Hakeem never had a rule change for him. He got the block shots because no one was scared to run in and test him. With Shaq, they did. They changed the rules for him, so I'm glad you brought that up. And the drug problems, please, just because you don't know about the drug problem doesn't mean his teammates weren't doing drugs. So that's just ridiculous right there. Just because they were dumb and they got caught in the 80s. So you have the most dominant guy who has people scared to come in on him, who they did change the rules for, who was able to take his teams. Oh, and by the way, last point, you bring up the 2 championships that he won. Only 2 teams in NBA history have led the league in 3-point attempts and 3-point makes and won championships. Who was it? The 94 Rockets and the 94 Rockets and the 95 Rockets. So don't tell me he didn't have help because you're saying these names that most people don't know because they were the only team in NBA history to lead in threes taken and made. That was why he won, not because of what he did.
Impressive stuff, gentlemen.
Wow.
That was a tight one. That's very good. I'm still thinking in my head who won that one.
It was a tight one. And if I'm being honest, a lot of what there were you said a lot of things I wasn't expecting, and there were some things that I feel like were left on the table too on both ends. So so obviously, Chill did a great job as far as it goes for bringing up the Dream Shake and how like that's like one of the in my opinion, I think it's the second most unstoppable shot of all time, or at least move of all time outside of the skyhook. Chill did a great job, Fluent did a great job bringing up how Hakeem didn't make it back to the finals for close to a decade. This really is a tough one. I
Love
guess
You can say tie.
Hey, you want to give a tie? You can say tie.
You can say tie.
No, it wasn't a tie. It was somebody was better.
No,
One of us was better. One of us was better.
Yeah, and he just took off his glasses.
So
Put them back on because y'all.
Pressure's on. Here goes.
Okay. So I guess I'm gonna yes. So when you bring forward a debate, I feel like one of the things you have to focus on is staying on topic while also showing like a bit of versatility as well. And I feel like Fluent did that the best. So he showed the versatility and expressed his dominance. He expressed the longevity aspect of it, showing that the consistency, without the accolades, and the staying on topic. The one thing that I feel like hurt Chill in the end, and Fluent did a good job in calling him out for it, was mentioning about how Will Chamberlain was brought up like that. The rules were changed, and that would have been good for Shaq versus Wilt, but it wasn't good for Shaq versus Hakeem. So it is Fluent by a hair.
Nice. I guess I gotta go
by a gray hair.
Yeah, right.
Hey, yours are coming.
It's coming. I got
mine are here. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I got a couple
why do you think I wear hats? Yeah.
Embrace it, guys. Don't be scared of the snow.
I'm embracing mine. I'm embracing it for sure.
From this standpoint, I think it was super close. You guys both did a great job. I think anybody listening in could learn something from both sides, which is what discourse. That's what the best way to have this type of thing. But at the end of the day, I think I'm going to lean Chill just for the sake of putting Jalen in the hot seat because I do think it was very close.
Yeah, again, close call. It's going to come down to, man, I think basketball-wise, both you guys covered all the bases. Like you mentioned Shaq's dominance, what he did coming right out of league, Orlando Shaq, dominating right away. And then Chill mentioned, Hakeem's playoff success against Shaq in that series, great defensive players, taking Ori Maxwell to the finals. I think I'm going to give this one to Chill too. because I think one.
I know where you
actually. Hey, come through. Come on over for dinner, baby. I got you. I think one, the counter to I think Fluent saying Shaq is being the most dominant player of all time. Rules being changed from the counter of Will Chamberlain having more rules changed from. I do think that's a good counter. I do think that's a good counter for that argument against Shaq, right? Yeah, it's Will. He had a lot of rules changed from him, I think. And I thought the drug thing was creative. I'm giving creativity points for that. Bringing up that aspect in a basketball debate and how that affected Hakeem Olajuwon, him dealing with that situation, but still being able to elevate. I thought it was very creative. So I'm gonna give him some creativity points for that.
So maybe he should have brought up that he had to deal with Ramadan and fasting, so he had it.
Hey, that's some creativity points. I'm just saying. Sometimes when the basketball points are,
deal with Ramadan, you know how difficult it is to play during Ramadan, brother.
That's weird.
What?
I'm telling you. You guys 1-0 chill town, baby.
And the reason why I brought up Chamberlain is because you brought up the most dominant big ever. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not true. That's Chamberlain. No, it's not.
Wait, I still have I'm probably highest on Shaq. I got Shaq third all time. I always tell people Shaq has a very.
Did he not send you a Christmas card this year? Like you're being down on Shaq.
You're not high on Shaq.
My issue with my cousin, and I said this countless times, he should have shut the GOAT debate down. We should not be having a conversation about anybody else, Tone. Nobody. And I said this to him. Like, we should not, it should have been him and it should have been everybody else. Like, we shouldn't be talking about Chamberlain, Jabbar. We shouldn't be talking about James and George. We shouldn't be talking about none of these dudes. It should have been him, 35,000, 40,000 points, 20,000 rebounds. It should have been him and everybody else because he was that good.
If they rule changes.
If they win the title in 04, is he first or second all time? Like, is that?
No. I think the GOAT thing is just because
I don't think it's the chips that do it. I think it's that he had a more ferocious. Like he showed it sometimes, but if he was more of a ferocious competitor in shape,
for sure.
If he was the same way,
if he was like a Kobe gym rat with that size and athleticism, there's no conversation.
I say the same thing about Vince Carter though too. I think Vince Carter should have been the GOAT what he did, and I don't Vince Carter has all the qualities of Shaq of being this overly dominant.
His longevity is very underrated though. I'll say that.
Yeah, 100%. Which is why I still think he has a GOAT case.
I posed the question to you guys after they win the NBA championship in 2006.
If he retires, they probably hold him higher.
He's done. He don't play no more. He says, "I don't want to play no more. I'm out." How we talking about Shaq? Like he don't play 5 more years after that. He's done. How we talking about him?
And that's why I said people think of the Cavs, the Celtics, the Suns, and I'm like, that's not Shaq.
No, it's not.
People don't think about the Celtics, the Suns, and
Shaq was never going to age well. There's a generation that remember him playing with LeBron, playing. Because
I feel like a lot of anyone like 25 and under, look at guys like Shaq and Barkley, and they see the TNT guys. They don't know.
That part's true. That part's absolutely.
Charles is just a funny fat guy on TV.
Yeah, that part's 100% true. 100% that part's true.
Yeah.
But I think Shaq is a person. Like the reason why he's such a big celebrity and so beloved is because he didn't have that quote unquote Jordan Kobe mentality, right? Like he did the movies, he cracked the jokes, he did these things, and like I think we love Shaq more so than if he was just strictly a GOAT type of guy. Like you would be a GOAT. Yeah, but
which was kind of interesting, and I know we got to move on, but it was kind of interesting, Tone, because, and I said this to you and him during the show, that I remember Jalen like it was yesterday, how I knew that the playoffs were coming because like jokes weren't as funny, like he wasn't smiling as much, like his fuse was shorter, like when he was, and like he would snap quicker than he would in December and January, and then it would remind the playoffs are coming. So I understand we're getting close to the playoffs. So he's getting in that different mode that he would get in. He wouldn't snap on me like flip out, but like he would be short with me.
Tell the difference. You can tell.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, the playoffs are coming.
To this day, I remember I went to the game when he was on the Lakers to the Raptors back in 01. The biggest human I've ever seen. Like the biggest human I've ever seen in my life. Like just the sheer mass width. Like it's not real.
Jalen. My high school basketball team went down to Phoenix for a tournament, and we were allowed to go into what was then called the America West Airlines Arena, whatever the hell it was, the Phoenix Arena. And they let us do like a tour. Like there's nobody there. We got to shoot around. We got to walk through the locker room, right? And Phoenix was playing Orlando that night. And out from the back, I guess he had just gotten there for their pregame shoot around, whatever. Shaq walks out in a big, I don't know if this coincidence. I know you're a 49ers fan. In a big gold 49ers jacket with red letters on the back. Remember, it was the 4, the 9, and like this massive thing that you could use as a parachute. And he comes up to the team and he's, dapping us up, saying, "What's up?" And I tell everybody, I'm not small. I'm 6'3", and at that time I was probably about $180. Right, I was in high school. So I shake his hand and I tell everybody his fingertips came to here. And I went, "What the hell?"
It's just
I'm not making the NBA. I better get a degree. Because
he's just a real life cartoon character. Like, it's not real to be that big.
I hear you.
I always said too, if he was a basketball player, he'd be in trouble. Because like if he were super rich, I don't think he could live in this world. Like clothes have to be all custom, right?
Oh, yeah,
cars got to be custom. Like like if he was a regular dude, he'd be screwed.
Big and tall, man. Big and tall.
All right, we got topic number 2.
All right.
Ari, it's all yours.
Let's go. All right. So obviously, given the popularity of the NBA and where it's going towards an international market. It's trying to be global. A lot of those things. I'm curious what you think is best for the NBA moving forward as a league. Do you think, because we've had 7 different champions over the last 7 years, I want to know if you think parity is better for the league or if you think dynasties are better for the league. I want Fluent to debate for parity, and I want Chilltown to debate why dynasties are better for the league.
Not like us. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
Well, since you didn't give me dynasties, and I prefer dynasties over parodies, you 3 get to do parodies versus Chill, who will do dynasties, and I will be the judge. So,
repeat the question again, Corey. So we're being parody, right?
You need to pay attention.
So we're parody. Yeah, we're parody, and he's dynasties.
Yeah,
so I will be the judge. Combined, you 3 have 3 minutes. Your time is starting now.
All right. Well, guess what? Parity is always better for the league as a whole than dynasties. With parity, you're going to have multiple cities winning championships. You know what that means? Multiple cities selling tickets, multiple cities with star players who become big, who can then be pushed by the NBA to grow the game. When you have multiple cities winning championships instead of one winning 5, 6 in a row, it's just a lot better for the league as a whole, making money and for the competitive balance of the league. Continue, Chris.
Yeah. To piggyback off of that, couldn't agree more. And one other thing you're forgetting is that every year, as far as it goes for viewership, fans get bored. They get bored of watching the same thing over and over and over again. That's why you saw in 2015 and 2018. Why do we have to see LeBron and Steph every single year? The era of the 2020s, we are currently in the golden age. Every single year, we have a brand new competition in there. And, social media age, it's very much fans getting distracted. So new team every year is fantastic for the sport.
My colleagues nailed it. This is why we are always on the same page and why we make for good judges, clearly, because I would say that exactly is the case. Is parity is something that drives competition. And in its base form, it's going to get mid-markets to be seen. It allows for the chances for teams that may not ordinarily get a shot to be seen, to be in the national market, to be in primetime positions. And that has to benefit the NBA because then they're in a position where they're not just pushing certain franchises and rich franchises. It allows them to push the entire product as a whole, which I think, to the benefit of everybody, is going to make the product stick out more. It's going to continue to globalize it. And at the end of the day, it's going to bring the most eyeballs. So, yeah, I think parity is important for the league and is big when it comes to how far this league will get.
So you guys still have a minute. So
I got a minute left to go. Okay. Well,
we're just efficient, barely.
You can concede your minute or you can take it.
Hey, we ain't conceded nothing.
Okay.
All right. We got parity. You know what? You know what league has great parity? What league is currently the #1 sport in America? 100 million viewers in their Super Bowl. It's the NFL, baby. The NFL has high team turnover every single year. While the NBA is falling behind in ratings. And you know why? Because sometimes they get sick of seeing the same people every single time, especially a guy like SGA. If they're going to make the finals again, foul baiter, going to get to the rim, not exciting, right? No one wants to see that. The Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, it was cute them winning one championship. We don't want to see them winning 2-3 in a row. We want to see the New York Knicks and Jalen Brunson. We want to see them win a championship. Maybe a guy like Donovan Mitchell making a run with Cleveland, bringing them another championship. Anthony Edwards making a run, winning a championship. We want to see guys elevate the teams that they're on. We want to see superstars step up to the plate. We want to see star after star battling each other out every single series. We want to see Vince Carter and Allen Iverson again, right? There it is.
All right, Chill, you have 3 minutes. The topic is what's better for the NBA, dynasties or parity.
Yep.
3 judges are now debaters talking parity. Chilltown Hoops talking dynasties. Let's go.
So, Tone, let's clear up a couple of things. Number one, pro football is about violence. That's why people watch. I mean, you could talk about it being in terms of parity. I think it's more about violence than it's about parity. People love that. That's why the stadiums are as big as they are. That's number one. Number two, you talk about the underdog in terms of parity. You don't love the underdog because last season, I think that the Indiana Pacers, Oklahoma City Thunder's finals was one of the lowest rated finals in NBA history. And the reason why was because of the stars who we did not see. Now, Tone, I want to rewind the clock back to the 1980s when the NBA was about to be bankrupt. And then shows up Larry Bird and Magic Johnson show up. And now Magic Johnson is in the NBA championship from 1980 to 1989. They were in the NBA championship 7 times. The Boston Celtics were in the NBA championship from 1980 to 1989. They were in the NBA championship, I believe, 5 times. And that was from 1984 to 1989, the NBA was at its highest in terms of rating. They had revitalized that. Nobody cared about the Philadelphia 76ers. Nobody really cared about the Bulls. Even though the Detroit Pistons had won the NBA championship, they were all there to watch the Los Angeles Lakers and the Boston Celtics. Now, you fast forward to the 90s. Now we have also the dynasty who we saw grew up losing to the Detroit Pistons. Now these guys turn into a dynasty, and we see them in the NBA championship 6 times in 8 years. And you know why we see them in the championship 6 times in 8 years? Not only because they're awesome, but people want to see them lose. In addition to people wanting to see them win, people want to see them lose. Then we fast forward to the 2000s when we see the Lakers in the NBA championship 7 times in 9 years. 7 times in 10 years. As good as they were, they wanted to see Kobe Bryant not just win, but there was also people who wanted to see him lose. There's a reason why when LeBron James was in the NBA championship 9 times in 10 years, and then in that 18-19 season when the NBA Finals was the Toronto Raptors and the Golden State Warriors, finals ratings dropped almost 50%. Why? Because that familiar face wasn't there anymore, as opposed to these new guys. You guys talk all the time about how important parity is. You guys talk at parity. When I think about it, it sounds to me like the underdog. Not the NBA. I'm sorry. Fans don't care about the underdog. You care about them getting there. Once they get there, they're gone, and you don't care about them. You don't watch. What you do watch, though, is you watch dynasties. You want to see dynasties, not just form. You want to see dynasties stay because you want to hate them after a while, and you want to see them lose. You don't want to see Oklahoma City lose. You don't want to see Oklahoma City, or you don't want to see Indiana lose. You want to see Indiana win, and then you want to see them gone. You want to continuously see Cleveland. You want to continuously see Golden State. You want to continuously see the Bulls because you want them to ultimately lose.
You have 30 seconds.
I'd like to know, as far as it goes for the discussion of you guys want to see this and you guys want to see that. I don't know about this, but the day that Kevin Durant joined the Warriors, the league was not, the fans were not excited to see that. The day that Kevin Durant left the Warriors, everyone was psyched. Everyone was psyched about the brand new parity around the league. Everyone was psyched.
And the thing is, chill. One of the problems with your argument though is that the reason why those ratings were down when Indiana Pacers were there is because the NBA doesn't push stars in these smaller markets. They have this idea of pushing 1, 2, or 3 stars. They could have pushed Tyrese Halliburton. They could have put him in commercials. They could have put him in situations where they push him as one of the faces of the league, and their ratings would have been higher. The NBA has to do a better job of getting these stars of these mid-market teams so the ratings will be fine even when the parity is high.
Ori,
Last time I checked,
you have 3 seconds, Ori. You have 3 seconds, Ori.
Yes, LFG. These guys are right. They know what they're talking about.
Jay, 30 seconds, go.
Last time I checked, Cleveland was not a major market, but I'll tell you one thing, you know who was having eyes on TV? Your eyes were on the TV because of LeBron James. That was 100% going on, right? San Antonio was not a major market, but your eyes were on the TV because of those guys, absolutely. And the NBA actually did a good job at pushing these guys. And since we're on the subject of Kevin Durant joining the Golden State Warriors, people were psyched to see them lose. That's why they were watching. It wasn't just because Kevin Durant did a quote unquote sucker move. We're gonna watch because we want to see this fail and it be the most ridiculous failure in NBA history. We don't want to watch them win. No, we want to see them go down in flames. And when the Toronto Raptors ended up beating them, which they did, everybody was extremely happy about that. It wasn't, well, Kevin Durant got hurt. It was, this is what happens when you join a super team. This is what happens when you get on a crew like this. You end up going down in flames. And I think people wanted to see that, which would explain why the ratings were what they were.
Whew.
That was a good one. That was a good one. I like that one.
I'm gonna watch out with Fluent and that flip button.
Flip button? Oh,
Flipping the judges. Yeah, it's the second
Tony
episode in a row.
Like,
He'll just push you in the ring, won't he? He'll just straight push you in the ring.
I gotta make sure what I ask every time now.
let me stretch first or something. You know,
if you're in that circle and we dance and you're going in the middle. So let me start off by saying a couple of things. Because I want to put it out of the way. I promise you, I dinged and I scored each good point that I have. That's how I do it. So it's right here. That being said, the reason I took myself out of it is because you gave me parity, and I think parity is the absolute worst possible thing for any sport, because I look at every sport, and when there are dynasties, that is when their viewership is at its highest, when its global kind of sales are at their highest, and when they're making the most amount of money. Because when we talk about parity, just think about it. You guys all, not you guys all, but you, the general public, always says the 70s sucked. Look, they had a different winner every year. Look how weak it was. Well, now we have a different winner every year, and because it's your era, I'm talking about the younger people. Oh, look at the parity. It's so great. No, that's not what you want. It's not what you want. Because when the Cowboys and 49ers in football, since you used football as an example, when they were running the 90s, everybody loved it. They were either, when the Yankees were so good that everybody loved the Yankees, or, oh, they were the evil empire. We gotta take them down. That's what they want. People want a hero. People want a villain. You needed Hulk Hogan, but you needed the Iron Sheik just as much. And Nikolai Volkov, the Hak Tui to the United States. You needed that yin and that yang. And with parity, you don't have it. Now, I wish you would, guys, you kind of went on the football thing. I wish you guys would have said, like, look at the NFL. Every season, I think Jalen started to touch on it, but I don't know if that maybe you ran out of time. Every year, every team thinks they can win, and they buy a bunch of tickets, and they go and they check. But the difference is in football is, well, there's only 16, 17 games, and every game means something. When there's 82 games, it takes away. So that being said, Chill hit on a lot of the points, and I had it super close. Like, I literally have 17 to 15. 17, that's how close it was, because both of you teams, I guess, made really, really good points. 17-15. Fluent's decision goes to...
That's not ridiculous. That's not
the
ridiculous.
Town Hoops.
Just so you know, Jalen. Just so you know, Jalen.
Not because I agree with the point. Not because I agree with the point. There you go.
Just so you know, Jalen, in the 100-yard dash, like, the winner wins like 9.69, and the second place guy comes in like 9.71.
Oh yeah, it's like milliseconds.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not like this ain't Usain Bolt. Yeah, it ain't
no,
Usain Bolt. Like, that's how we win it.
That's an event. I mean, that goes back to Dynasty. Like, that event is lost its luster without Bolt.
It might be harder
Like,
with
that event-
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, the
That
100-meter dash is
was the
not
Jerry
what it
Seinfeld
was.
joke, right? It was like this is first place, everyone knows you, and then this is no one gives a crap.
I used to watch the
Like,
Olympics specifically because of the 100 and the 100-yard dash and 110 meter, the 100 meters and the 110 meter hurdles. That's why I watched the Olympics.
It's because everyone can relate to it. Like, everyone's been at school, in the schoolyard at lunch and recess, and you race your friends, right? And then you see the fastest, and being called the fastest guy in the world is pretty cool. Like, you're legitimately the fastest.
I also think it's the ultimate flag. Like, when you talk about like teams, Tone, and you're talking about winning in football, like, you need a bunch of things to go right. Tone, I'm faster than you, and I'll prove it right here, right now.
Yeah.
I can run faster than you, and I'm going to prove it right here, right now.
I don't know if any of you watch Seinfeld.
Of course.
I'm more of a Friends guy.
So there's an episode of Seinfeld where his old nemesis from high school comes back, and he's like, oh, he beat me in this race, but he cheated. He got a head start and no one noticed, right? Mm-hmm. And eventually Jerry does admit that he did get a head start and he noticed, but he says he had that race, he won it, and because he won it by such a wide margin, everyone just called him the fastest guy. Like, the track coach was begging him to be on the team. Other people were begging him to race. And he goes, no, You know how fast I am. And then he goes, and then the myth of how fast he was just grew and grew and grew, and he never raced again. That's how important it was that he was the fastest kid.
Then he raced again.
And then he raced again and again cheated and won. All right. Jalen, I've put it out to the chat. I will send them the link. But Jalen, we have time, so we can do 2. So we can do yours, and then we can bring in I will send out the link for the chat. But what is your topic?
All right, we're gonna go. Which of these guys who were number 2 options on championship rings would be the best if given their own team? Right, these are guys who had to take a step back. I think sacrificed for the team, but I think everyone realizes that if they're given a team, they can do well. So we're gonna go with Manu Ginobili for Chilltown, and for Fluent, we're gonna go with Scottie Pippen.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And who's going first and second?
So,
Jalen? Okay, go ahead.
is it on me? I'm
I don't
first.
know, Jalen's not saying who's going first.
Okay, Fluid go first. I thought you guys.
Okay.
Fluid go first.
All right. Scottie Pippen as the number 1 option. Well, the beauty about Scottie Pippen as the number 1 option is we saw it in a very short year and a half, but we saw it. So here's a guy who was the number 1 option for a year and a half. And in the one full season that he got to be the number 1 option, he led his team in scoring. I believe he led his team in probably assists, and he was up there. I think he was second in rebounds to Horace Grant. But also he was in the MVP conversation. He was an all-defensive player, an all-NBA player, led his team into the 7th game of the second round. This close in one season to getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. Who knows what could have happened if they allowed him to be the number 1 guy? So when we talk about a number 1 option, we need to talk about their skill set. What can they do that can lead a team? Well, can he run an offense? Well, yeah, he ran the most complicated offense in NBA history, the triangle. He was the main facilitator in that offense. Can he defend at an elite level? Not that it's a requirement of a number 1 option, but boy, does it help. Yeah, well, we got that because he was a all-defensive first-team member, all-defensive player multiple times in his career. In fact, multiple times, one of the best defenders, Michael Jordan, would defer to him, taking on the best scorer of the other team to be the defender. You have everyone who's played with him saying he was more skilled than Michael Jordan, who some consider the greatest or second greatest player of all time. So he's got the skill set. We know that they said he could defend the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4. And probably in today's NBA, he could probably defend some of the 5s. So here's a versatile, supreme defender who could facilitate offense, was a willing passer, got his teammates involved, who could run an offense, who can lead a team because he showed it. Oh, and by the way, he could also score over 20 points per game in the lowest scoring era in NBA history. Mm-hmm. So I got a guy who can score at an elite level. He can defend at an elite level. He can facilitate, run offenses, lead teams, and had the ability to take his team into a deep playoff run in the first time as a number 1. It's pretty give him that team for a couple more years or go back to 91 and just eliminate Jordan earlier and let them know, because let's not forget Jordan didn't tell them until October that he was leaving. Put that guy in 91 at the beginning of the season, say, hey, this is your team. Phil Jackson said he's the best player, most versatile player on the team. So how could he not be a number 1? In fact, he was probably robbed of a ton of money and accolades and a bunch of stuff because he had to play with someone else. That he is a number 1 player.
Mm-hmm. Am I up? Okay. So, all right. So I think you made some interesting points, Tone, but I think that you missed on something that was really important. So the number 1 guy, to be the number 1 guy, right? And in order to be the number 1 guy, you have to first be the number 2 guy. And then once you become the number 1 guy, we can see exactly what it is. And I think Manu Ginobili did that on the biggest stage in the world. Like, we think that the NBA championship is the biggest stage in the world. It's actually not. The biggest stage in the world is the Olympics. And Manu Ginobili actually took that Argentinian team not to the Olympics. They actually won the gold medal off the strength of him. Now, when he's in San Antonio, he's showing all of us that as a rotation guy, I can be the main facilitator. I can be the main bucket getter. I can make a legit argument right here, right now, that in 2005, Manu Ginobili should have been the finals MVP, as good as Tim Duncan was. Manu Ginobili 100% should have been the finals MVP. They had, why am I drawing a blank on his name? I'm still with you guys. Now I was about to call him Torian Prince. Tayshaun Prince, I apologize. Tayshaun Prince had a hell of a time trying to deal with Manu Ginobili. Manu Ginobili's ability to get downhill, get to the rim, not just ability to get downhill, get to the rim, be woven into that offense that they had, and get buckets, not just get buckets, but get everybody else involved within the flow of that offense. He wasn't doing anything out of his character. He wasn't doing anything extracurricular. He was actually doing it within that offense. On top of that, we move from him being one of the best rotation, if not the best rotation player, to 2008 after they won the NBA championship. So we go into the Olympics again, and there's a conversation that he's the best two guard in the world. They don't talk like that about rotation guys. They said that he's the best two guard in the world. Now, don't get me wrong. Both Dwayne Wade and Kobe Bryant put an end to that. But the fact that I am that good as a rotation guy, what does it say about me if I was given my own unit? How good I am as a transition player, how good I am at finishing around the rim. I only average off the bench at my best. I could give you 20, 22 a game. I could give you that. Now, if I got my own crew and we're running the offense through me and me being a solid defender, I can be an anchor in terms of a perimeter defender. I absolutely can do that. I didn't have to do that because we had Bruce Bowen on the team. I didn't have to do that because we had Tim Duncan on the team, which enhanced my skill set. But if I was the guy, we already seen what I could do because you've seen me on the biggest stage in the world, which is the Olympics, and I actually took Team USA to task. I took all of these other teams in the Olympics to task, and we actually won it, and I was the man. We can't say that about we can't say that about other people that are number twos. But Manu Ginobili, on the other hand, I think he has a legit argument for being a number two, but could be a number one and could take a team further into the playoffs, and not just into the playoffs, but to the NBA championship.
The difference between a number one and a number two and a Manu Ginobili who's a number six is exactly what you're talking about. This is why you had to go to the Olympics, right? Because you have to go to lesser competition. Because in the NBA, as a sixth man, the reason you get to put up some stats, even though he only averaged like 13 points a night, is because you're also going up against the other team's second units. So it's easier to look good. So Manu Ginobili is getting compared to Lou Williams and Jamal Crawford and Andre Iguodala. And yeah, when you're going up against the second unit, yeah, you get to put up some shots, you can score some points. The difference is, what can you do when you're the number one option and NBA teams in a playoff series are targeting you? Manu never got to see it because, well, he never got that opportunity. With Pippen, we know that he could do it against number ones because he was always the number two. Yep. So there was always the first teamers going against him. And when he became the number one, even when they now focused on him, he was still able to put up the numbers and win games and do what he had to do to be successful. Manu Ginobili couldn't do it. Why? Because he didn't do it. And why? Because he couldn't do it.
Well, I think it's interesting you mentioned me being a number two in just in the Olympics, and I'm playing against rotation guys. I don't know if you noticed, Tom, but I was an all-pro coming off the bench. I wasn't just playing against rotation guys. I was also playing against first unit guys, and I was also playing against rotation guys, and I was kicking everybody's ass. And I might have averaged, what did you say, like 12 or 13 for my career, but there was years when I was averaging 17, 18, even 20 a game. That was off the bench as a rotation guy. I was doing that, which would explain why I was an all-pro, which would explain why I was an all-star. So it's not that I didn't get the opportunity. It was just that I played that role to the best of my ability because I wanted to do what was the most important for the unit. Had you shown me the door and said, I need you to be more of this, well, it's obvious that I could have been that. Why? Because I was this as a rotation guy. If you would have put me in the role as being a number one, if I could thrive as a rotation guy, when I already showed you, by the way, the best competition in the world is in the Olympics.
He could have been a number one. The greatest coach of all time, Pop would have put him as a number one when Dunk got old, and he didn't. He gave that job to Tony Parker.
I think we're done.
I think we're done.
I think the time
that was 10 seconds, but when I put my hand up, it's like
10 seconds. That was like 75 seconds.
Yeah, you let him rock. Gotta let him rock.
That's like 11 seconds.
Questioning my credibility as a timekeeper is.
Real nice, yeah.
I lose track. Listen, when I was keeping track on you guys, I was listening. I wasn't watching the clock, and then I was like, "Oh, oops."
Yeah, but you're old. So it's understandable why you do that.
Fair enough.
I like how you just let that slide. Well, yeah, you're right.
I guess I know who's picking this round. Yes, go.
Right.
We got Ori. We got Ori. A ton of people.
All right, so that was fun. I'm not gonna lie. I think that Jalen did no favors to either one of them because I feel like putting Manu against Scottie is
It's criminal.
tricky.
Let's
It's
call it what it
tricky.
is.
It's
criminal.
tough. It's tough.
It's
Probably there
criminal.
wasn't a proper
It's-
call.
yeah,
Because
that
Tone
was-
knows how I feel about Scottie Pippen. The fact
And-
that I have to argue against him, it's
Yeah,
like
and-
it's like Tone having to argue against Magic. That's what it is.
That's when I hit the button.
Like, and Chill leaned into like the only arguments Manu would have.
Yeah,
Like
so-
Chill found them, and I was impressed by that. I obviously would pick Scottie Pippen to be my number one, but the fact that Chill was able to pull out some of those arguments that, you know, the Olympics one was fun, you know, some of these like, hey, he could be really, you know, the hypotheticals. You know, I'll give him props for putting up a solid argument. I give Chill this one.
There you
Yeah,
go,
I'm with you.
Chris.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you there, Rory. Both you had the great arguments. Flew into the great argument as far as it goes for saying like, okay, we could talk about hypotheticals all we want here, but we did see Scottie as number one option, and he led the team to 50-something wins. So, but then I feel like Chill was definitely dealt the worst hand, but delivered for sure. Bring all the Chill. I'm sure the Mars would be extremely proud of you for propping up the Manu the best that he could. I'll definitely get Fluent definitely had his moments for sure, but I definitely give this one to Chill.
The fact that you made me argue against Scottie is like
That's the fun
I
part.
really don't want to do that, but okay.
Since it's over and you got the first two votes, I'll say the second you brought up the Olympics, I was like, damn it.
Yeah, that's a winning argument though. Yeah, that's tough one. It's a great
It
argument.
was
Yeah.
perfect because after you're like, well, we have proof as a number one. It's like, well, where has that guy been a number one?
I've always said like Argentina winning that gold to me, it's the equivalent to like 3 NBA championships. Like that's just super impressive. Like, you know what he was
To
able
be honest
do
with you,
against
Jalen, and I was still a young man at that time. I didn't even know Argentina had a national team. I did not know that.
Actually, yeah.
I
I
did
knew
not
him
know that
and
they had a national team.
him
I
and
did not know that.
was Carlos Arroyo on that team or was he called later?
No, he was in Puerto Rico.
He was Puerto Rico. I don't even know who else was on that team. I know Scola was there after.
Scola was there, and they had been together for a while. And it's actually how I got really introduced to Manu Ginobili. I'm watching the Olympics. And I'm like, that's the dude that played for the Spurs, right? That's him. That's how I was thinking about him. But like I said, me arguing against Scottie Pippen is like Tone arguing against Magic. Like you literally got to put Tone's arm behind his back and twist his arm to make him argue against Magic. Me having to argue against Scottie Pippen is like, fuck, you killing me over here. I really don't
I'm
want to
just glad he
argue
didn't
against
cringe.
So Jalen, would you have picked Chill as well? I'll probably I would have picked. In that case, Joe is gonna come up and save us from this nonsense.
Hello.
Joe, what up?
Hope you guys are good. My topic is that Jason Tatum overall around the league is seriously overhated for no true reason. And I'm going to be talking about not just like outside of basketball, but also inside basketball. And Fluent, you're going to be going against that he's not overhated.
We're talking Jason Tatum?
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I going first?
You up first, Jay.
You're going first, yes.
You have the burden of proof, my man. You are the prosecution.
Yeah.
Tell us why Jason Tatum is
tell us why he's so hated.
Okay, Jason Tatum is overhated simply because of what he does outside the court. It's maybe the few cringy quotes, or maybe it's the corny poses after he won a chip. Bear in mind though, this guy doesn't get hate for this game, and I want to bring up some stats actually about Jason Tatum, which never gets brought up about why people hate him. In terms of rookies, he is second all time of rookies of points scored in playoffs. First guy was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, one of the top centers of all time, in my personal opinion. This guy gets hated for no real reason, and I think it actually drags down his reputation as a basketball player, because we can talk about stats and we can talk about that's what people don't do. People don't talk about stats when it comes to this guy. They just talk about what he does more off the court. He's getting hated, and he's getting close to now to coming back. People saying he's not going to fit this team and that he's going to bring this team down. You're already hating on this guy, and he hasn't even stepped foot back on the court. The treatment that this guy gets, it's unfair. No other superstar, maybe other few, get this sort of hate and this sort of unreasonably backlash towards. The guy's coming off an Achilles injury, and we're already getting talks that he's going to ruin Jaylen Brown's performances. He's going to ruin the entire Celtics roster. The chemistry's not going to be messed up. Give the guy some time. Dame Lillard hasn't played a game this season, and no one has said a word until he got brought him in the 3-point contest. So why is it that Jason Tatum, or because that he has maybe a few cringy comments and a few corny poses every time when he won a championship, that you have to constantly bring this guy down? He's a great ethical hooper. He doesn't do anything wrong on the court. He's not like Dawes, who constantly fouls guys, tries to injure them. He's a good player, shows respect, and for his career, he's averaging 24 points a game. He's assisting well a 4 assists a game, and power forward, that's not bad. And he's an NBA champion. He's a six-time All-Star and a 5-time All-NBA. And he doesn't cause no problems for Celtics or for any other team really. He didn't do much wrong, and I think he gets overhated for simply the wrong reasons.
So here's the thing. When we say hate, we use that word, and in most cases, it's because we're way too sensitive. The second someone gets criticized, the second we point out something that he doesn't do well, because yes, there was some cringy poses. There was when he won the championship, when he was like, what am I going to do next? Like he just regurgitated other people's final lines. That criticism isn't hate. That's justifiable criticism for a player. And that's okay. You're allowed to criticize him as well as applaud the things he does well. That's not hate. Why I know he's not hated? Well, one, you mentioned it. The media doesn't hate him because in his 8 seasons, 5 times he's got an MVP votes. 5 times he's been an All-NBA player. 5 times he's made the All-NBA team out of those 8 years. Obviously, his first 2 seasons he didn't. So the media doesn't hate him. They love him. He's a media darling. What about fans? You say fans hate him. Well, are we just sensitive and we see the guys who talk bad about him? Are people buying his jerseys? Yeah, he's in the top 5 to 6 or 7 in jersey sales every single year he's in the league. So do the fans hate him? Is there really that many people in Boston? No, right? So people around the world must be buying his jerseys if he's in the top 5 or 10, which he is every single year. So the fans don't hate him. The media doesn't hate him. So who exactly hates him? Oh, okay, Laker fans. Sure. Okay, no problem. We're Laker fans. We're meant to hate. We're meant to hate Jason Tatum because he wears green. If he were to come to the Lakers, or if the Lakers would have drafted him like they should have, we'd love him. So I think the hate isn't actually hate. It just might be, Joe, unfortunately, in your own head because he's getting criticized, rightfully so, and it's a little bit of sensitivity to our best player on the best team, which, by the way, let's be very clear. He is the best player on the Celtics. No matter what Jaylen Brown does and no matter who wins the finals MVP, right? Whether it's statistically, I think Tatum led in every single damn category, minus maybe 1 or 2 in that NBA finals. He had every right to be the finals MVP. Jaylen Brown won it. That's not hate. That's just, hey, this guy had started the series off better. Let's be honest. That was the difference if Jason Tatum started it poorly. So if I'm going to say the most hated player, can I name other players who are hated more? Yeah. I can name LeBron James, Trae Young, There's so many I can't even think. Kobe in his day. Like when we talk about hate, like there are guys that were legit hated that got robbed of awards and fatigue, and Russell Westbrook. Those guys are hated. James Harden. Oh, he's gonna leave the Cleveland Cavaliers. He hasn't been there for 2 months. Oh, those guys are hated. Jason Tatum, nah, he's loved.
And of course, yeah, but in the same breath though, yeah, criticism is okay. And yeah, he has been criticised, but I'm now looking on socials almost every single day, and there is more guys scared about this guy coming back who are Celtics fans than people who are actually like excited to see your superstar return. Why are we so afraid of a guy? Like, we all love this guy, and now you're scared of him coming back because you're scared that if Jaylen Brown doesn't perform anymore, and you're saying I don't want Jason Tatum starting. I hate the idea of Jason Tatum starting. What's the actual purpose? And to say that, yeah, he did get criticised, and I'm not saying he's the most hated player in the league, because by all means, I know fully well he's not. To some guys who are generally despised in the league. But what I'm saying is, I think he's still overhated for what he does, even though the thing is, he doesn't do a lot. That's the thing. He doesn't actually really put a foot out of line, and yet, no matter what he does, there will always be something. Even Boston fans themselves will always have something to say about this guy, and a lot of the time it is perceived as hate, and now you're more fluent.
when he oh,
Heyo.
no, you can't do that because you're about to lose. When there's guys in the league by the name of Dylan Brooks, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, who are so much more hated than Jason Tatum can ever imagine, and so much more criticized than Jason Tatum can imagine, we cannot complain about the criticism that Jason Tatum gets. And I will give you a little tip, and this will help you out specifically. Whether it helps the debate or not, I don't care. I just want to help you as a human being. The reason you're seeing all the people on social media who are hating Jason Tatum, it's because you're interacting with that. And the more you interact with it, that's the algorithms on these social media sites say, oh, that's what you want to see. So you're seeing it all the time. In reality, if you go to your favorite social media sites and just say Jason Tatum's the best and see all the posts that come up about it, heart it, like it, comment on it, that's what you'll see in your feed. So it's because it bothers you that you respond to it, and that's why you're seeing it. But in reality, KD is way more hated than Jason Tatum. LeBron James is what the Lakers fans are telling, get rid of the best or second best player of all time to make the Lakers better. That's hate. Jason Tatum? Nah, that's not hate. And now you're fluent.
And there it is.
Now
But-
you're more fluent.
But at the same,
Oh, your time's up, bro. That's
I can't even say it about. Oh,
That's it. That's it.
all the guys he mentions are in controversy, like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Dylan Brooks, and Draymond Green. Draymond Green fights people for a living more than
You know what it really is? You know what it really is, Jay? You know what it really is? People hating on him on Twitter and stuff. He's a good-looking guy. He's a good-looking guy who's a championship guy. I'm telling you, people's girlfriends love Jason Tatum. He's a good-looking guy. I'm telling you. Yeah, they mad their brothers would leave them for him. You know, I'm telling you, it's a light-skinned hate. They see a good-looking brother out there, and they're just gonna hate. I'm telling you. That's what I legitimately think it's one of the things.
we're overtime. Sorry, we're overtime, so we got to be quick. Jalen, your vote.
Oh yeah. I'm fluent. I think just cover more bases. I think Jay, you were. I mean, I do agree with some of the points, but I think you could have got a little more detail into the Jason Tatum hate.
Chris.
That one was good.
Yeah, I wish that I wish that I was challenged in reverse of this because Joe, you did a good job, but I feel like I would have done better in this tournament.
Oh, thanks
so,
a lot.
Really nice.
I'm on your side. I'm on your side, Joe, 100%. But yeah, I'm going to give the edge to Fluent.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I got to give it to Fluent as well.
Oh my
I
God.
thought you did a great job, Joe. That was just an uphill battle. That was an uphill battle for you.
You lost a lot of points for using my copywritten tagline. I'll send you the bill in the mail. Joe. Tone.
And it's a sweep. Fantastic.
All right, that's 1 hour and 2 minutes. Our sponsors, nobody, are going to be really upset with us. Joe, appreciate you as always,
Thank
brother.
you. Thank you. Good to see you guys.
Yes, thanks for coming by.
That was great. And by the way, Jalen, I have a buddy who does not like Jason Tatum specifically because he's good looking and he's rich.
I'm telling
No
you.
other reason.
Yeah, that's real.
No other
Yep.
reason. He
Yep.
does not like him because he's good looking and he's rich. And
That's
he's
the only reason to dislike him.
no other reason, Tone. And the chick that he's with, LMA, is that her name?
I don't know her name.
LMA, the rapper. Yeah.
He's with her. That's the only reation why he doesn't like him. That's it. No other reason.
I'm telling you, guys will just hate.
Good enough.
Can you say goodbye to everybody?
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us this evening. You guys know where to find us every Tuesday night, every Wednesday night. Fluent, that's my man right here. Chill, that's me right here. You know these guys. That's Ori. That's Chris. That's Jalen. We do this every Wednesday night, 8:30. Come through. Come check us out. It was great to see you guys tonight. We will see you guys soon. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When's the last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. Talk to you guys soon. But until then, take it light. But take it. Absolutely, man. It was good to see you guys tonight. This was dope. No doubt.
Thanks for watching Fluent versus Chill versus everyone. Special thanks to Sports Fluent, Chilltown Hoops, Hoop Social, All American Hoops, and Jalen Carter Music.